Welcome back to Say No To Lashon Hara, Day 17. This episode has been sponsored anonymously, and all of this project is being done as a refuah shlema for Chana Bat Simefega. If I was trying to explain to someone why Lashon Hara was terrible and why one shouldn't speak it, I would probably pick a classic example, an example where after speaking terribly about someone, that person now did not get a job that they would have gotten, did not get a promotion that they would have got, did not find a date with someone because of what I'd said. So in each of these scenarios, the reason why Lashon Hara is bad is because of what happens because of it. But actually, when the Torah is talking about Lashon Hara, it gives us quite the opposite example. It tells us about Miriam, who was the sister of Moshe Rabbeinu. Miriam looks at Moshe and says something that for all intents and purposes is not actually negative. She just says that he is the same as other prophets. So she's not looking down at him as a bad thing, it's not a negative thing, but she's making an assumption that he was the same as the other Nevi'im or the other prophets that would ever exist in this world. And the Torah says that Miriam, who had no bad intentions, she harbored no resentment against Moshe Rabbeinu. She did not want anything bad to happen to him. She didn't say it in front of Moshe, and she didn't say it in public, and she didn't say it to a random stranger who also wanted to see something bad happen to Moshe. She mentioned it as a concerned sister might to her brother to see what they could do about the situation. So her intentions were completely pure. She was someone who had risked her life for Moshe previously when they were in Egypt. And yet the Torah tells us that even though her intentions were pure, and even though nothing negative happened to Moshe, and even though the person she spoke it to didn't spread it to anybody else, and even though it wasn't in public, and even though it wasn't to the person's face, so nothing bad happened because of her speech, still Miriam, who was a tzaddiket, was punished, telling us that Lashon Hara is not only bad because of the ramifications, it's not only bad because of our intentions, it's bad because you cannot speak negatively about someone based on who they are or where they stand. Even if it wasn't negative, but it was bad for Moshe. It was taking him down a peg from where he was. And therefore we see how careful we have to be with Lashon Hara. The Chafetz Chaim says that when a person speaks Lashon Hara, they're transgressing this positive commandment to remember Miriam. Zachor et asher asa Hashem leMiriam baderech. Remember what Hashem did to Miriam, that she received this punishment of tzara'at, and the entire Jewish people had to wait for her. The Chafetz Chaim continues and explains, you're also transgressing the mitzvah of ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. This idea of loving your friend like yourself tells you that if there's something that you would not want done to you, you shouldn't do to another person. Imagine you were walking past a group of people and you realized that they were actually talking about you. And they were talking about your faults. And you'd be so upset and so embarrassed and so angry. And you'd walk up to them and say, how could you guys just talk like that about me? Well, if that's how you feel about yourself, and the Torah tells you you have to love your friend like yourself, then if you heard someone or two people speaking about a friend of yours or about any Jewish person, you should walk up to them with anger and upset feeling and say to them, how could you speak that way about my friend? Why would you talk that way about me? And you know what the proof for this is? The proof for this is that when we have any sort of fault, we don't tell anybody about it. And we try and make sure that people don't find out about it. And if people find out about it, then we get upset that they talk that way about us behind our back. So, obviously, it's not the way that we like to be treated, so we shouldn't treat others that way either. If we want people to speak only nice things about us, then that's what we should want for our friend. We should want that people should only speak nicely about them. And just as we would be so upset that our friend was standing by and letting them talk about us without defending us, we should also feel that same way for someone else to protect their kavod and to make sure that we speak up on their behalf and stop the negativity parade that's being rained down upon them.